Hi, I'm Kenny Joya. Welcome to another one of my tutorials. In this video, I'm going to show you how to invert envelope points in REAPER. I have a project in front of me here with a synth, and it sounds like this. Let's say I wanted to add a panning envelope to it. I would select the track, hit P, and that creates a pan envelope, and I could draw it in like this. Hold down Control on the PC or Command on the Mac, and just draw it in. From left to right and back again. And now it sounds like this. Let's say we're happy with this, except we don't want to pan it from left to right. We want it to start on the right and go to the left. Well, instead of redrawing it completely, we could just invert it. We could just select in here, then select all to select all the points, then right-click any of the points, and go down here to invert selected points. That's going to invert our envelope, so it's going to pan from right to left, instead of from left to right. And we could just do it in sections if we prefer. So let's undo this, and instead, just select from here to here and invert that. Right-click, invert selected points. It's just going to invert this section. And then go back to the previous envelope. So we could just invert it in certain sections. And there's many different applications for this technique. For example, it's very useful for tremolo. I have a project right here with a tremolo guitar, which sounds like this. But if you notice, the attack of the guitar is at the highest point of the volume. So if we wanted to invert this effect, we could just select all the points, right-click, invert selected points, and get a very different effect. Where the attack of the note is at the lowest point of the envelope. This is also useful for muting or stutter effects. For example, I have a synth here, which sounds like this. But I created some mute automation right here. But again, we can invert it to create a different pattern. Let's select all, right-click, and choose invert selected points. And now we're going to get a very different pattern. But let's go back to the first project. Let's say we wanted to automate a filter. I have a filter on here already. Let's switch our track to touch mode and write some automation. And it sounds like this. And again, let's say we're happy with this pattern, but we want it to work in reverse. we want the filter closed on these sections and open over here. Select it all, right click, invert selected points. Now we get the opposite effect. But it's a bit too low, so we can move it up by constraining the movement of our points. So on PC, it's Control-Shift, and on Mac, it's Command-Shift. Grab the points and bring it up, and that constrains it left and right. We can bring it up to the range we want to work with. But it's still inverted from the original, which is this. And we can use this technique to control other parameters. For example, let's say we like this pattern, we want to put it on pan. Hit P to open up the pan envelope, then we can copy this envelope, copy envelopes within time selection, and paste it right here. Now we have panning doing the same thing. But if you notice, it's panning a bit more on the left side than the right. We could adjust that by creating an automation item. Go down over here, Alt on the PC, Option on the Mac, and create an automation item. Then we could double click it, readjust the amplitude and the baseline so it falls perfectly between the right and left speakers. So it'll sound like this. We could bring it in a bit more by readjusting the amplitude so it's not so wide. But we used the same envelope that we wrote with automation to now control pan. We could also make the envelope play twice as fast. If we go to our play rate, we could change it to 2. That's going to double the speed of our envelope. So it's still the same envelope we created down here, but it plays twice as fast. Then we can get rid of the automation item by deleting it, but keeping the points. Let's invert this one again. Bring it back up. Now let's say we wanted to create another filter on this track. Let's go back to the EQ. Let's add another band and make this one a high pass. Bring it up so it's like this. And we could duplicate the automation from this one to this one. Choose this as the last touched parameter. Show track envelope. And we can copy this envelope to this one, which sounds like this. Which is not very useful because they're both doing the same thing. But we can invert it so they're moving in different directions. Invert selected points, which is going to sound like this. So we created many different envelopes, all based on just one, by inverting it and changing the speed as we want. So that's pretty much it. That's inverting envelope points in Reaper. I hope you learned something, hope you can use it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.